So the first step to doing this, it has white wine vinegar, 6 to 8 ounces of cold butter, and what? This one, yeah. And hand strainer, perfect. So the first step is making a mignonette, right? So shallot, white wine, and white wine vinegar. Are these weighed out specifically, or were they measured? But 1 ounce each. But it's. Can you look at the recipe real quick and just double check it? Because it seems a little shy. One should be 1 ounce and one should be 2 ounces. Or block. Can I have a little bit more white wine?
It looks like a one from back there. My bad.
Yeah. So go ahead and just fill that up, and then I'll.
Where's the meat cup for it? All right, he's holding down on the line now. It's over here. Over here. Oh. I got like this aromatic.
How do you do? Let down. Oh, sec. Almost dry. Oh, sec. One of the things that I do is I add a little bit of salt at this point. I do the same thing when I'm doing my mignonette for my hollandaise as well. The heat helps dissolve it, and that way we don't have big salt crystals sitting on top. I'm not using black pepper in a creamy white sauce because I don't want little black speckles. Chef E used to say it looks like somebody ashed their cigarette in the sauce, right? But we use black peppercorn. And one way that you can, and it says, in a lot of the recipes, kind of like that sauce book that I have up there, if you crush it, you can take a back of your pan and kind of crush it on your cutting board just to help release some of the aromatics in the black pepper. So we're reducing it down sec, almost dry, because I want the essence of the wine. I don't want to have a liquidy wine sauce. We're using cream, and that's not always traditional. The way I was taught, there was no cream, but this is going to be like your mustard and your mayonnaise, right? It's going to help stabilize your sauce, add a little bit of richness. It helps it so it's not going to break as much. The other thing that you want to do is make sure that your butter is cubed pretty small, because you want it to be able to emulsify in the sauce and break down, but not not stay thick and chunky. I might not use all of it. I'm going to guess about 6 ounces most likely, and it'll be 6 ounces as well for my clarified butter. So now this is reduced down sec. There's just a little bit in there, not much, right? And so now at this point is when I add the cream. And what I'm looking for with the cream, if you want to.
There's some more in the
Some cream?
Yes.
So you see my bubbles are pretty active, right? Mm-hmm. I want to reduce it down a little bit. If you want to come over right here, or figure out which one of y'all is going to take the video.
I'll do it.
So
I'll do it.
You'll see the bubbles start to get fatter, and I'll be able to see the bottom as it starts to get thicker. So if you don't reduce it down, now I'm going to turn it off. Now it's reduced down enough. If you reduce it down too far, it's going to be chalky in flavor. If you reduce it down, if you don't reduce it down enough, it's going to be too thin. Now, I turned off the heat, but I'm not taking the pan off the element. I'm going to add in my butter right now. Yep, about 6 ounces or so of my butter. Whisking, because I don't, and the reason why the oven is, or the stove is not on, the element is not on, is because I want to emulsify this butter into the hot mignonette. I don't want melted butter. Now I'm going to tat it for salt. Then I'm going to strain. Serve it. Tasting spoons.
Thank you, Chef. You already got some. Recipe on the wall.
So I would put this on a piece of seared scallops. Seafood would pair up really nicely with this.
What do you use for this,
Can you use
Chef?
something like that on like a mashed potato chicken dish? No?
Be too rich. All right, taste that. It's practical, but you're also going to see it on the final exam. So paying close attention to this part of it is going to be key, right? So my water, I'm going to get that going and simmering. I want my water level to be about that high. And the reason why is that, again, we have factors that we need to keep in mind. Is that perfect bain-marie?
I'm not sure, Chef.
In the kitchen, it is what it is. Because a bain-marie would sit flush, but this is not flush, is it? What I mean by not flush is that the sides, there's like flame getting on the sides. So if I feel the bottom of it, the bottom's still going to be cold, but the sides are hot. If the sides are hot, the bottom is not. These are things that we need to think in mind. So I'm going to remove, just wait, I'm going to remove this on and off the heat, on and off the heat. So I'm controlling this factor. I'm controlling the heat, I'm controlling myself. The thing that eggs don't want, they don't want high heat. And if I left this on there like this, the sides being hot like this, what's going to happen is it's going to cook my egg yolk on the sides of my, and I want a nice emulsified sauce. So let's think about our mignonette again. So we have white wine vinegar, shallots, and aromatics, yes. Yeah. Thyme, bay leaf, peppercorns. And this is 3 eggs. That looks good.
We did 3, right, Mike? We did 3.
Well, it's just to be on the safe side. This is a really good way for me to show you how to separate eggs properly in the kitchen. Nobody I know in any restaurant, anywhere, so really, when we crack an egg, the shells are sharp, right? So you're more likely to pierce. So we want to be really careful about that.
Joe, guys.
But your hands aren't sharp, are they?
No, Chef.
So a couple different things that we do is we do it in our hands, like so. Here's the chalaise in here. You can see that the egg white is nice and these are fairly fresh eggs. You see how it's holding together really nicely. And so this way I can use the egg whites. I can give the egg whites, we can freeze them or we can use them later because we're going to use these egg whites coming up for, you might turn that down some, for our consomme. So if I was using my egg whites for making, let's say, an angel food cake, right? So angel food cake basically is egg whites and sugar and a little bit of flour. That's what an angel food cake is. But it won't get high and voluminous and volume, won't get high and fluffy if there's any presence of fat. It has to be completely fat-free. So I want to really make sure that if I do have, and I'll do one on purpose here. just to show you kind of some cool little tricks. So let's say, for instance, bacon. I get a little bit of yolk in there. And let's say I get a little bit of shell in there. Is that disaster? Do I cry? No. No. There's no tears. So I'm looking for a fat-free product, but the kind of cool thing about egg shells and eggs themselves, eggs are just rad, right? They want to go back home. They always want to go back home. So they'll swim right back in there, like that, and it'll swim right back in. And scoop it right out. So again, it's fat-free. The other thing, it works with shells too. If you happen to get a little shell, you just kind of hold it right next to it, and it goes right back in, instead of fishing around for it with your fingers. So it likes to go back in. So you can try to remove as much egg yolk, and if you happen to get a streak, use your shell as a little magnet. Other thing with eggs, the longer they sit out without being covered, they form a skin. The other thing with eggs that's interesting is if you put egg and sugar together and you don't work it right away, it actually chemically burns the egg. It cooks it. The sugar will cook the egg. So you want to really make sure that you're keeping them well wrapped, so they're not exposed to air, so they don't form skin. Also, a sugar-egg mixture, you want to be able to work it right away. So now my liquid's simmering over here. I have that mignonette that we talked about. So here's one of the things that I'm going to do with this mignonette. So my mignonette, I'm going to actually switch these out. My mignonette, I'm going to let it go down a sec. I'm going to get some nice water out of it. But what I'm going to do is add about 1, 2, whoa, I don't want that guy in there. About 3 nice little splashes of mignonette in with my my egg. So it's kind of liquidy, huh? So I'm going to take my whisk. See, it's big bird color in here, right?
Yes.
Bright yellow. Sunshine yellow. I want to go to the color of yellow cake batter and the consistency of yellow cake batter. So I have hot clarified butter in the back going, doing its thing, getting nice and warm. My mignonette that I'm reducing down a sec, I'm going to turn this down here to a nice simmer, and this one down to a simmer. When it's a sec, I need to turn it off. I haven't forgot about my lemon juice. My lemon juice is going to reconstitute this mignonette later on. So right now, I'm going to take this on and off the heat, right? So remember the size. So right now, I'm just going to get it nice and warm. But I'm stirring it constantly. The reason I'm stirring it constantly is because I don't want anything sticking to the side. And you can see that this the steam is actually what it's the heat is not directly on here. It's kind of like a layer of steam that's helping me cook this. Now you can go right into a water bath with it. You know, there's some restaurants that have like these kind of areas that you would put like a steam bath to keep your hotel pans nice and warm. You can go directly onto the flame if you're being kind of daring. So again, I'm doing that mignonette, so I'm going to season it up. And I'm also going to season up this while it's warm. The reason why I do it while it's warm and not season afterwards is because it's not warm enough for my salt crystals to dissolve it. So I don't want to crunch into salt in my sauce. So what we're looking for is for the texture to become nice and thick and ribbony, so it should fall onto itself. And that's not quite there yet. If I try to add my warm clarified butter to my sauce now, it would just be foamy. It wouldn't form an emulsification. I need this egg yolk to get nice and tight, coagulate, if you will. So if I feel the bottom starting to get warm, I'm turning off my mignonette now, keeping an eye on it. And you can see that starting to get thicker, right? The sides are warm, really warm. The bottom is starting to get there too, so I'm doing really well. You see the color changing?
Yeah.
You see it getting thicker, right? And if I can start to see the bottom, and I can get a ribbon, I know I'm there. Alright, so that's where my egg yolk needs to be. Now here's another little trick. You want to grab me 2 dry towels, pretty please, and thank you. Two-ounce ladle. Thank you.
She got one already.
Alright, here's my trick.
We got it first. Okay.
I want to keep my sauce warm, right? I also want to be able to add butter to it, keeping my bowl stable, and I have hot clarified butter. My mignonette is still over there. I haven't forgotten about it. It's doing its thing. So at this point, this is when I want to start adding in. Now this is still keeping it nice and warm. Start adding in my butter. Just like in mayonnaise, a little bit at a time. Especially in the very beginning. If I add it too much, there's only so much the egg is going to accept. The yolk will slowly start letting people into the party. I try to go in it all at once and they freak out. I'm probably only going to get, based on the size, I'm only going to get about 6 ounces in here. So if I have bigger chicken eggs, then I could probably add more butter, right? This was made for you downstairs, yes. What's that? Micah. You made it downstairs?
Yeah, that and the vegetable.
And I'll get one more in there. What's that?
Y'all are back there.
Yep, no, she got me up and I was kind of nervous. The first thing I did, I messed up.
Some people like smart asses. I like dealing with smart
Yep, that was the day we had.
I like it all every people.
All right.
That day.
I got all my butter in there. Reconstitute my mignonette. There you go. Let's try out a couple of different ways of doing poach. So if you want to grab me some white wine vinegar, thank you.
Put white vinegar.
Use a straight slotted spoon for yours too, but so here's the Ruhlman way of doing it. So he has simmering water, nothing in it, right? kind of a little interesting experiment. So let's grab a couple of eggs. So nothing in it, right? Just egg, egg, and egg. What he does is he breaks an egg, cracks an egg, and he allows for some of that like runnier stuff to run through. See it dripping down? That's the runnier stuff. And so what's left is that, you know, the firmer albumin. And then he just gently lowers it into...
It kind of sinks to the bottom.
What temperature is that on? Really low?
Medium. Yeah, just a like a simmer. And you can see that it kind of stays together, right? So there's nothing really going on in here. And once he has it established, it does look like a ghost egg.
It's like a hard-boiled egg without the shell.
Now we'll try it with just a splash of vinegar the other way. Maybe just a little bit more. And we'll bring that one up to a boil and we'll do the lid method. Not salt. On the what? Did you say salt water? Yep. See, and it's just kind of doing its thing. And
It's dancing down there. Yeah. It's like dancing down there.
it's kind of, I like to watch this method just it is kind of doing work. It's like a jellyfish. What I like about it is that you can see what's actually happening with a poached egg. And it's holding itself all together. Now, if I was to cut into that poached egg right there, I would still see a little bit of clear. So I want to wait till, you know, just to give it a couple minutes and let it do its thing.
Chef, what is the heat?
I just lowered it down a little bit, just to a little simmer. So if I go to pull it out, I can still see a little bit of the white. So it's just not white there yet, but it's almost there. So that's what I said, yeah. So do you want to grab me a plate, please? Thank you. The nice thing about this method is that it keeps it all intact and the egg doesn't have any tartness to it at all. So it has a little bit of, I always make sure that I have something to dry it, right? Whether it's a dry paper towel, always a clean towel, not anything else. And then, so we're going to do a couple different ways of doing it. Here, thank you. So it's a perfect poached egg, right? So, yes, no, there's, it depends on if somebody asked you specifically for a, otherwise, yeah, well done. Otherwise, it's going to be a perfect little poached egg. So when you cut into it, isn't it adorbs? And the thing is that it keeps it nice and silky, and it has a nice googe to it. I love poached eggs. That with some of the hollandaise on top, we have eggs Benedict on top of our stuff and our things. Ooh, great. Let's give that cheese back. Did we give it back to him, or we just took a chunk? Okay.
Oh yeah, I got big old block.
Bleach pen. It's alright.
And it flips over into a little. Yeah.
Now that the sauce is off over here.
Yeah, I just turned it up. That'll work. The other way to do it, this one is a little bit acidulated. Turn the water off and lower the eggs into it and put a lid on. Let it sit for about 2 minutes.
That's no fun.
I know. So that'll be for our poached eggs. The vortex method, I'm just telling you right now, not so much. So we practice and play around with that, but let's move on and get a cutting board, and we need to cut some herbs up, our French herbs. So let's grab some of that.
8.5, Chef. If you need your space, just let me know and I'll let you add.
That's all right. I'm
I know
not
some people
terribly.
don't like that.
Did they connect together?
Those
there?
are almost there, huh? Just a little bit longer.
They look like jellyfish.
Look like, yeah, jellyfish.
Yeah, like you said, it's not all together.
At 27. 5 years.
No, I didn't mean
2
cooking.
years.
I meant cutting.
5.
27.
Yes.
You can do the math.
How many times have you cut yourself, Chef?
Oh, millions. I burn myself more than I cut myself, though.
Generally we'll rinse the herbs, right? Chef, because normally we'd rinse the herbs.
Those are pre-washed. So what happens is during when plants, like when lettuce rusts or things turn black like that, it's because I've destroyed the cell and it's allowing oxygen to come in. But the other thing that happens with oxidation is it's plant's defense mechanism. So it pushes antioxidants to the surface, cut surface. This is chervil.
It tasted like black liquor.
Kind of like a blood clotting, right? Except
Yeah.
for it's oxidation doing that. Same.
Pass that around. Take off a little piece.
I'm sorry, Chef. I'm very
You have a good immune system, though. Your chances are you're going to be old.
I like mine scrambled hard.
That's how it is with most
Ketchup. I eat them with ketchup on them too.
So here's one thing that I will tell you about demos. The quieter I get, it means that you're not learning. Just saying.
said the louder we get, the more we're not learning.
Yep.
Because it's side talking going on.
Whoa.
So really important
That just jumped on all by itself.
about doing omelets. I'll show you. So if I was to just whip them up and then start cooking them, do you see where everywhere that is translucent? That's going to turn white.
Right.
So I don't want any streaks in my omelet, so I'm going to whip the hell out of it. I'm also going to heat up my pan.
Bright yellow herb.
Take another plate. When you get a second, a paper towel, please.
Just grab her paper towel.
Just a little bit of paper towel.
Oh, paper towel. Never mind. Paper towel.
So, well. Well. It's whipped well. Cool. Quite fine. So, I'm going to pop it in here. So, again, low heat, right?
Yeah, chef.
But here's where it's going to be a little different than a traditional omelet, and I'll hold on to that because I'll use it again. Is I'm going to have constant motion. I want small curds. I'm going to create small curds. So I'm stirring constantly in little circles, and I'm shaking my pan, scraping it down, scraping it down. The really important thing is these egg pans. Whoops! Oh, I went over. I overshot. With these pans is you want them non-stick, right? If there's any scratches, you're not going to be able to do this process. So make sure you're using only rubber or wood, no metal in these pans at all. Otherwise, you're going to end up not being able to flip it out. So it's going to go back to liquid here in a sec. I haven't seasoned them. I haven't added any water. I didn't add any milk. I didn't add anything like that. I'm coagulating my eggs, though. You can see that they're starting to come together. So it's at this point where I'm going to need to shape them up. So it's nice.
Yeah.
You can't see? Can you see? You can't see. I can't hear you.
You couldn't see. Butter.
Just a little bit of butter on the outside.
Why do you put butter on the outside, Chef?
So I'm going to lift it up, and so I'll show you in just a sec. Season it up with a little bit of salt, a little pepper, only on the inside. Turn down. So now I want to be able to get that butter up underneath so I can roll it out. Use a little bit more here. Turn on the heat just a skosh. Bless you. Just so I can move it around in the pan. If I can't move it, then it's sticking. So I can move it just fine. Roll it around. It's nice and creamy on the inside. Here's the trick. Here is I'm holding it. So I'm folding it out. Whoops.
Oh, no.
Let me get it back in the pan. You got, okay, now I'm done. There's too much going on here. Let's do that again.
Under pressure.
It's not the pressure, it's just a lot of peeps over my face.
Yeah.
Cameras and all kinds of stuff going on.
Okay.
So the one thing that you can do is you can shape it up, and I'm going to do one more for you guys so you understand it. But I want you to try it. It should be nice and creamy on the inside. Let me do one more for you. Get that in there without overshot. Before.
Is that hard to use clarified butter, or does it matter?
Clarified butter does help. That way the milk solids don't burn to the bottom of the pan.
And make it look like speckled, right?
Or freaking
On the other side.
big old things. I was like, man, I
That's what
know.
that was.
You can use all.
Myself.
You can use all too.
That accent?
Because butter's expensive.
Oil.
The way you said that was really weird. Wasn't Seattleite, okay? I don't know
Oil.
what accent that was.
Oil.
Oil. Yeah, maybe Canadian.
So then, once it starts to get more,
Small curds. Yes.
like more, like it would be thicker, really, but it's the small curds that's making it look thicker. It's cooking more, so that's when you stop and you should warm it
Right,
up.
where I can start to see the bottom, and I have small curds, and but it's still tender.
You don't get the color, right?
Yeah, no color.
I mean, that's why you're doing that.
Yes, and I'm also over low heat because of that. I'm going to do a Western right after this, and I'll show you the difference between the two.
So this is a standard French roll. They have different variations.
Oh, sure, but a standard French rolled omelet is going to like have the fins over. So see, now it's at the point where I'm going to stop, and I'm going to shape it up.
So now, that's not undercooked,
No, you saw how long I cooked this for? Over juicy.
It also still cooks while you roll. It's rolled too.
yeah.
Carryover cooking time?
Yes.
It's more cooked than an over easy egg, I'll tell you that.
And I want to make sure that I can roll it out, so then I'm going to season it. A little bit of that Finn's herb, the black pepper, my towel. Roll it out. So I'm looking for a nice smooth surface, right? You'll see chefs like that'll bang it, do this whole little thing, whatever. You don't need to do that to get a triple roll. So on the inside should be nice and creamy. So let's show you what large curds as opposed to the small curds. So I'm waiting for all the shimmer.
So that means you don't stir it as often, right?
So yeah, no, it's quite a bit different. So let's
I just let mine sit.
but I want it nice and fluffy, right?
Yes, chef.
So I'm going to let it get a base. You got some cheese on there? So now I got a base. I'm going to start pushing it in and out.
I never knew I was doing it the right way.
Hey, Chef, have you ever seen someone make an omelet and put it in the egg can and then the egg can inside the oven? Like it's the, I don't know why he did it, but I don't know. Yeah, I saw him do it at work.
This is almost like scrambling it.
Put it in there for a minute.
And I'm going to get a little bit butter underneath it. And then I'm almost, what I want to look for is almost to get like kind of a souffle action going on.
Oh, that one.
Alright, so I want to get this souffled. So what's going to happen is it's going to get nice and puffy and high.
Cheese on it. Is that a Western?
And I want, yes, and I want to get a little bit of color on it.
All that cheese on there, huh? Loaded.
See how it's starting to puff up a little bit? Cheese starting to melt. Get a little bit of color. What?
Why is it so much puffier?
I created large curds and I'm creating like souffle, so now I'm going to add in my toppings.
Liquid gold.
And then I'm just going to do a half.
Oh man. That was yummy.
That looks so easy and so fast. Over easy, I think.
Coarse, I want the coarser one. So I get mine towards the edge a little bit and give it a little bit of a whoop, like that.
Just a little whoop.
Whoop. The other side, get a little, then you can do two at a time. Get it to the edge, we'll get a little bit more cooked. Now, whoop, Sunny side, you don't. No, I'm going to do, let me do Sunny's. I only brought 2 egg pans up with me today. So we'll do it again. Ready? Over to the edge and whoop, like that. You have to make that noise when you do it. I can do that.
Everybody on my
Might be a boomer off ESP Sports Center.
Uh-oh. Whoop, whoop.
Like, oh.
Yes.
What's wrong with using, why is that better than a spatula? Using a spatula.
Because you can break it
Yeah.
easier with a spatula.